Oh look, it's the X game. We're doing the X game. Somebody get Randy Carmichael on the line. We're doing X Games, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the X game, another one of those game boxes from China that you can find for next to nothing on sites like AliExpress, Temu, and yes, even Amazon. However, I got mine in a recent lot from Goodwill, so I don't actually know how much it retails for or how long this has been on the market. An Amazon listing that has the console priced at $30 says April 2023, but that can't be right. This seems like an old as hell device. Yes, the selling point of the X game is that it looks like an Xbox, which if you ask me is an odd choice for a retro device, or something you hope will, sell. It's meant to fool unsuspecting customers in less informed regions, of course, but again, no one wants an actual Xbox in those regions, so why would they consider this one? Pointless questions, it doesn't matter. They got me to buy it, so something was effective. It's a weird hybrid design invoking both the Xbox One S and the Xbox Series S, the two underpowered versions of the Xbox, so that's another interesting marketing choice. Make no mistake though, this thing isn't nearly as powerful as either of those two budget-minded devices. And when you pick one of these up, you'll instantly know you're not holding an actual Xbox. It's light as a feather, as there's probably just one small board inside. An Xbox Series S weighs close to 5 pounds and is dense as hell. This doesn't even weigh a single pound, and a household fan on medium would probably blow it over. I'm willing to bet there's just one of those boards similar companies release as HDMI sticks inside here. Now, going back to that Amazon listing for a second, I don't usually like to mock the promo copy for these things because they're mistranslations and, just pointing and laughing at that stuff is weak. But there are a couple of well-constructed sentences here that nevertheless raise some eyebrows. For example, they say that the console's design is reminiscent of classic arcade machines, making it perfect for gaming enthusiasts and collectors. Classic arcade machines, huh? No. Right below that, it says that with a dual-core CPU and DDR2 128 megabytes of RAM, the X game delivers uninterrupted gaming performance. What does that even mean? Even the Atari 2600 was uninterrupted gaming, and there's barely any power in that thing. Are you worried it's going to crash if you get an email on this device? What silly bullet points these are? Just say it looks like an Xbox. Anyway, back to the device. On the back, you'll find an HDMI connection and an SD card slot for if you want to add more games, and I can go ahead and tell you that you will not want to do that. On the other side, you'll find the power port and then a composite connection, which means that you're not going to get a great signal out of this thing no matter how you hook it up. That's a bummer, but ultimately not a big deal because this device has other issues. On the front of the console is the power button that's blue when turned on and features a square when illuminated. Okay. On the other side, there are two USB ports, which is where you plug in the included blue PlayStation knockoff controllers for the knockoff Xbox. The buttons are labeled A, B, C, and D, so I guess that makes them Neo Geo controllers in PlayStation form on the Xbox. I really like the translucent blue look of these, but overall the controllers feel bad and are only occasionally responsive. But whatever, you might be able to use other USB controllers if you want. I tried using a wired Xbox 360 controller with it, and it just didn't seem to draw enough power for it to function properly. But maybe an older PC controller or other lightweight device might work. I don't care enough to keep trying. Again, these are not the main problem with the console, but yeah, these aren't great. No, as per usual, the problem is its lack of features and poor performance. No matter how you hook it up, you're only getting a standard definition signal out of it. It doesn't automatically know that you're using HDMI, and there are no options to tell the system that you're using HDMI and to bump up the resolution. There are no options at all, in fact, other than what I believe is a frame skip setting. Filters, aspect ratio, resolution, bezels. Nope, forget it. Nothing. Also, one of my capture devices doesn't even recognize the kind of signal that's coming out of this thing when connected via HDMI. It was just all, no, that's not a thing, get out of here with that. But you probably want to know about the games. Okay. After the mother of all intro screens, the menu shows 5 different sections to choose from. Neo Geo, which is represented by an iCade for some reason, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and regular Nintendo. There are 100 or so games in each section, with the box saying you get 600 games in total. The Neo Geo section also seems to include arcade ROMs, like Capcom's The Punisher, for example. Now, this isn't a surprise bonus or anything. The box says it supports CPS systems too, but just lumping them in with the Neo Geo stuff is sloppy. They seem to run okay. I did find some actual Neo Geo games and tested those, and they seem to be running okay as well. Not great, but okay enough. So it's a decent start here despite the lack of organization. But the Game Boy Advance section is a mess. Without filters or enhanced resolutions, these games will look awful on even a modestly sized television.
2, 1, go!
And many games just don't run correctly. I'm not familiar with this version of Pokemon, but I would guess that it's not supposed to sound like this. The NES, SNES, and Genesis sections, though, all suffer from the same issue, which is that games are just not running properly, causing a shimmer in the image whenever the screen scrolls vertically or horizontally. For me, these are entirely unplayable. I can't look at the screen for any period of time without immediately getting nauseous or my eyes starting to hurt. So yeah, this is a very cheap device that doesn't look or sound great, and doesn't play the majority of its games well at all. Look, I'm not saying this thing has to be a powerhouse just because it looks like an Xbox, but it should at least do the bare minimum of being a decent gaming device for the games they've decided to install on it. And it's not. It's just not. It's as simple as that. There are plenty of other options that will give you much better results for these games out there. I do not recommend this one. Maybe this is the kind of thing you just want to buy so you can put it on a gaming shelf, but don't buy things just because they look like other things. Note to self,